Hi Leo, I'm EllaAradia and welcome to your July 2026 Psychic Tarot reading. This reading is for my Leo fire signs where we'll be exploring the overall energies and themes for the month ahead, as well as taking a deeper dive into how these might be playing out for you in your life. This is a general reading, so it's not going to resonate for all of you, but what I do find is there's always a shared theme that runs through the collective of all of you Leo signs. So it may show up in different areas of your life in slightly different ways to different degrees and intensities, but the theme is always the same. So take what feels aligned to you and just leave the rest. And before we jump in, a very big thank you to all of you who are supporting my channel by liking and subscribing. So if you enjoy this reading and you haven't already done that, please do. It helps the channel out a lot. It doesn't cost anything to subscribe, and then you can get notified when the next videos are up. So Leo, let's jump in. I always like to tune into the energies first, Leo, before I start pulling any cards. I'm a psychic reader, so I like to see what the universe shows me. Feeling a strong energy of abandonment, an abandonment wound being triggered, because the image I get shown is of, trying to hold sand in your hands or trying to hold water in your hands and it's just flowing through your fingers. Something leaving, somebody that you've been trying to, I feel, hold on to. And it's this feeling of, trying to hold on, but they're just slipping through your fingers. And a strong energy of feeling abandoned. I see somebody leaving your life, somebody walking away. With your overall energies, we have judgment. Usually a call to accountability. Judgment is often an energy of a life review where we're being asked to question something, and it's all about going back over the past, looking at, your experiences and, really learning. It's a card of learning from the past. I'm really looking here at, what do you let go of right now? What do you need to let go of? And what do you take with you moving forwards? I feel a lot of sadness. I feel like there's some disappointment. For some of you, it might be heartbreak of something, not working out the way you thought it was going to. It could be related to career. For some of you, it might be a job or a project that you were working on, involved in, something like that. But something not turning out in the way that you thought it would or the way that you hoped it would. But there's something karmic about this, I feel. I feel like there's some very powerful soul lessons wrapped up in this. And even though this feels like, for many of you, I feel like this is a really challenging time, what I am seeing is the word glow up. I feel like this is going to be your glow up, even if you can't quite see that yet because you're still, very much in the emotions of whatever this is that has broken down for you. In your recent past, the Empress represents a new beginning, a new idea. It's very much these energies of, manifesting, rebirth. Your current energies is the Hermit. And, with the Hermit as your current energies, I do feel like that is where you are right now. This is often an energy of going within, looking for answers. Because I do feel this strong energy of, disappointment, abandonment. For some of you, it's a feeling of not being chosen. And whoever this relates to, whatever this relates to, I definitely feel that if you were to be really honest, This energy of not feeling chosen or honored or appreciated, something like that is what I'm feeling here. I feel that has always been a feature of this connection. And, through various, behaviors or ways that, this person has been showing up, I feel like there's always been, a subtle energy of that in this connection. But maybe something that, you saw, but you hoped would change or you didn't really want to look at. And something's broken down. I just see somebody leaving your life, moving on. They may have physically even, moved to a different location or something like that for some of you. And this strong energy of feeling abandoned. Your feelings towards your situation, the King of Swords. So this is the person I feel that many of you have been dealing with. And King of Swords is usually somebody that, is a deep thinker. They use their logic to make their decisions. This isn't someone that leads with their heart. And, there may have been something about, this connection that didn't feel emotionally fulfilling for you. You may not have felt emotionally seen, supported by this person. That's the energy I'm getting here. Not really feeling loved and supported in the way that you really needed. Because, King of Swords is not someone that follows their heart. This is someone that makes their choices, their decisions on, the facts of a situation, based on information. They use their logic, their intelligence to, navigate a situation, to make their choices, their decisions. And what lies in the challenge here is the Magician. New beginnings, new potential, possibility. And, it does feel like it's almost like this person was absolutely, playing a role for you in terms of helping you to learn some very important soul lessons here. This is all about you choosing yourself, not settling for less. But I feel like there's a little bit of a challenge here around, perhaps stepping into this new chapter that I see in front of you. Let's just get your hidden influence. So the hidden influence is the Star. And, the hidden influence is very often something that's impacting a situation that you may not be aware of. And with the Star, I always look at this card as one of understanding, the soul lessons in a situation. And, it's a card of hope, healing, faith, renewal. And it is very much an energy which asks us to trust in, what is unfolding, trusting in, the way things have played out sometimes and why. Because the Star is very much about you stepping into an energy where you are not afraid to be seen for who you truly are. Stepping into a much more, healed, whole, and authentic version of yourself. Because I do see the word, soul contracts, karmic connections, and the person that you've been connected with, I very much feel is part of a lesson. And, this may be a pattern for you where often in relationships, you haven't felt respected. They haven't shown up in the way that you needed. They weren't honoring you, honoring the connection. And so there's always this kind of one-sided energy where you haven't really felt fully chosen. You haven't felt loved, seen, and supported in the way that you needed. And I feel like the person that you were connected with came into your life very much for the reason of bringing up, this old wounds from your past, of abandonment, of feeling unloved. They very much mirrored to you, I feel, the relationship that you've been having with yourself in that way. Because them moving on, them leaving your life has triggered, this abandonment wound. And it really mirrors, all the different ways that you have abandoned yourself. And as I always say with all of my readings, it always goes back to childhood. Most of the time it goes back to childhood, but it can also be, soul lessons that we have actually carried, from lifetime to lifetime. And, it does feel like a very challenging time. I do feel a lot of heartbreak, sadness, disappointment for you. You thought that they were going to be somebody else in your life. And the challenge here, I feel, is not so much letting go of that person. It's around letting go of who you thought they were going to be and who you thought you would become as a result of that as well. Because, this is all about choosing you right now and not settling for less anymore. There's a really strong energy, I feel, of never really feeling truly seen for who you are. And the mirror is about doing that for yourself now. And that's why the star is here in the hidden influence for you. This is the glow up. This is what you are, really working towards. And I do get the sense that you're ready for that, even though it might feel very challenging right now. Whatever this relates to, like I said at the beginning, these soul lessons, this theme can show up in different areas of your life, but the theme is always the same. And what has broken down has brought all of this up for you to look at because you're ready. It wouldn't have happened, if you weren't truly ready to, really step into a more whole and healed version of yourself here. So just remember that, even though this might be very challenging right now, it's happening for a reason, and it's happening because you're ready. And it's really about you stepping into your full potential here. And, that is a little bit of a challenge right now, but I do feel that, step by step, you will get to that. You will understand, that you have everything that you need in order to move forwards, to bring in, what you truly want and deserve in life. You have all the tools that you need, but also, all the qualities inside of yourself. They're all there. It's just a question of, accessing them. And this is what this is all about. This is you discovering yourself, moving forwards in a much more authentic version of yourself. What's coming in for you is the Queen of Pentacles. And again, I just feel this energy of a glow up. That's you moving forwards, really knowing your worth and your value. I always feel those are the soul lessons that are very much attached to this Queen of Pentacles energy. And of course, when you do that for yourself, it shifts your vibration, because, we attract according to, what's vibrating in our energy. So when you pour into you, like the image on the card, this is someone who is nurturing themselves, their life. When you pour into you, that's when you will be able to attract someone that can mirror that back to you. And I do feel, with judgment here, you are being asked to question. We can get really hooked up in the dream, in illusions. And, my advice to you right now, every time you think about this person or this situation, whatever this is, whether it relates to career or it may be someone that you're close with, it might not be necessarily a romantic partner. But whenever you think about this situation, this person, whatever it is, question it. Question, what you thought it was going to be. Question that dream, that potential, because there's something here about the universe, really asking you to be in the reality of what is. We so often get hooked into the potential, much more than, what was the actual reality of this situation. Because, I do feel if you're really honest and you do really question things, this is asking you to really question and analyze. And in doing that, what you're actually doing is reframing things to something that is, perhaps a little bit closer to the actual reality of the situation and the person. Because there's a lot of things I'm feeling about this person that, weren't making you happy. They weren't fulfilling. They weren't showing up in the way that you needed. There was a lot of things that were missing. But I do feel that they were a lesson, rather than a life partner here. So you're being asked to question things, to really understand, what their role was. Whenever something shows up in your reality, always question it, because, it's not there for no reason. If something is there, it's there for a reason, and it's usually illuminating something to you. There's something to learn. There's a way in which you're being called to step up. So always question it. Every time you think about this person and you're going back over the past of, what could have been and that potential, actually question that, because that is a process of reframing things into a more, I feel, kind of honest reality here. And it will help you to move forwards as well. So in your advice, we have the Lovers, which is all about the universe saying to you, stay true to what you really want, because you deserve to have a connection where you're receiving back just as much as you are giving. So this is, in the image on the card there, this is two people choosing each other through an energy of mutual trust. It's a very reciprocal energy. And, it is really about holding true to what you really want and deserve in a partner. Also in career, this can represent, staying aligned with purpose and what your heart truly wants, and making sure, that whatever you do next, whatever path you take next, that you are also getting back as much as you're putting in. And what lies in your outcome here is the Two of Wands, a choice to be made. Twos will always represent choices. And when you look at the figure on the card here, they have the World in one hand, which represents potential, possibility. But they have one foot that is pointing back to the past. And very often there is a choice where you're being asked to perhaps move beyond your comfort zone. The foot in the past there represents, comfort zone, what feels familiar, even if, it isn't 100% fulfilling for you, but it's something that feels safe, secure. It's your comfort zone. But there is a choice to be made here between perhaps moving out of that comfort zone and moving towards, some kind of new possibility, which really holds, I feel, a much bigger potential for you. because, this is why you came here. You came to be, everything that you can be and reach your full potential. And whatever has come to a close, that's the redirection. That's the direction that the universe is just, I feel, trying to nudge you towards. So Leo, I'm going to leave that there. If this reading resonated, let me know in the comments below. I'd love to hear from you. And as always, no matter what comes through in a reading, moving forwards, always trust what feels right for you. So thanks so much for being here, and I wish you a great month ahead.